I thought my wife was just stressed from work, until I found the hotel receipt hidden in her coat pocket. We met at a bookstore. Classic, right? I was thumbing through a dog-eared copy of The Bell Jar, and she reached for the exact same one. Emily. She had this dry wit that always caught me off guard. We dated for 3 years, got married in a quiet ceremony under a canopy of trees, and built a life that felt honest, comfortable. We both worked hard, me in IT support for a mid-sized insurance company, her in advertising. We had a small house in Arlington, Virginia, with navy blue shutters she picked out and a kitchen that always smelled like cinnamon or coffee. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. We didn't have kids, by choice, but we had Taco, a chunky tabby who ruled the house. I never thought I'd be the kind of man to worry about where my wife was. She had her late meetings, and I had mine. We trusted each other. Until I didn't. It started with the hotel receipt. I wasn't even snooping. I was looking for her car keys in the coat closet. She's always losing them. And when I checked the pocket of her trench, something fell out. A folded piece of paper. Hilton Garden Inn, Alexandria, room 217, one night. Paid in full. My stomach dropped. It wasn't near her office. It wasn't near anything she'd mentioned. And it was dated 2 weeks ago, the same night she said she'd been at a client dinner. At first, I made excuses for her. Maybe she had to stay over because of work. Maybe her client paid and she didn't mention it because it seemed unimportant. But that night, when I casually asked how her client dinner had gone, she hesitated. "They're a bit demanding," she said, avoiding eye contact. "Long night." I nodded, smiled, pretended I didn't feel the ground shift beneath me. I started paying attention. The late nights became more frequent. She became more careful with her phone, angling the screen away from me, laughing softly at texts she never explained. I asked her if everything was okay. She said I was being paranoid. "You know how crazy the fourth quarter gets," she said. "Can't we not do this?" I didn't push. I should have. But part of me was afraid. Afraid that if I forced her to speak the truth, she'd confirm what I feared. Instead, I turned into someone I hated. I checked her email once when she forgot to log out on our shared laptop. Nothing. I even asked her best friend, Monica, if Emily had mentioned anything weird. "She's just been exhausted," Monica said. "Work's been brutal." But something in Monica's voice didn't sit right. She was avoiding my eyes. One night, Emily came home wearing lipstick. We don't kiss hello anymore. We hadn't kissed at all in weeks. She said she'd just come from a pitch meeting. But the lipstick was smudged. I followed her the next Thursday. I left work early, told my boss I had a dentist appointment, and parked across from her office around 5:30. I saw her come out in her gray wool coat, looking tired. She didn't head home. She got into her car and drove north. I followed, 2 cars behind. We ended up at a cozy-looking bistro in Georgetown. And then I saw him. Tall, clean-shaven, sharp navy suit. He hugged her before they even got to the door. Not a polite hug, an intimate one. Her head on his chest, his hand on the small of her back. They went inside. I didn't follow them in. I didn't need to. I already knew. I drove home in silence. Sat in the driveway for 15 minutes, gripping the steering wheel. That night, I didn't say anything. I made her dinner like always. Lemon chicken, her favorite. And she smiled, like nothing had happened. Like she wasn't living 2 lives. But I didn't sleep. I lay next to her in the dark, listening to her breathing,
wondering if this was the same woman who once cried when I wrote her a poem about her freckles. The next morning, I left a note on the kitchen counter. We need to talk. Tonight. She didn't say anything when she came home, just sat on the couch, crossed her arms. I asked her how long. She didn't deny it, just looked down at her hands. 3 months, she said. I laughed, but it came out hollow. Is it serious? She didn't answer. It was all I needed to know. I packed a bag and left that night, slept on my brother's couch, didn't even take Taco.
I didn't speak to Emily for 2 weeks. She texted once, "I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt you." I didn't reply. It wasn't until Monica called that I got the whole story. "You should know something," she said quietly. "Emily wasn't having an affair. Not in the way you think." "What does that even mean?" She sighed. "The guy you saw? That's Ryan, her half-brother." "What?" "He reached out a few months ago. Her dad had another family. She didn't know. It shook her. She didn't want to tell you until she was sure he wasn't just some scammer. That night in the hotel, she was meeting him for the first time. She panicked and told you it was a client dinner." My ears rang. "But the hug, the lipstick." "She was crying, Daniel. She was a wreck that night. Ryan comforted her. That's what you saw." I sat down, heart thudding. "I'm not saying she handled it right," Monica added. "She should have told you, but it wasn't what you think. The hotel, the secrecy, the lies, they were real, but the story I built around them wasn't." I went back home that night, knocked on the door like a stranger. Emily answered in sweatpants and no makeup. Her eyes widened. "Daniel, I need to know everything," I said. And she told me about her dad, about Ryan, about the fear of what it would mean to bring all that mess into our lives. "She didn't want you to think less of me," she said, "and I didn't want to lose you." I looked at her, really looked. "We already lost something," I said quietly, "but maybe not everything." We didn't fix it overnight. We went to therapy, we cried, we yelled, we apologized. It took months before I trusted her again, and I still flinch when her phone buzzes after 10 p.m. But we're trying, because love isn't just built on truth. It's built on choosing to rebuild that truth when it breaks.